My name's Tamara Chambers.
And I'm Cody Melcher.
And this is Tamara's Just Saw. There's so many Tamara shows. This is Tamara Just Saw.
And Cody also just saw two as well. Hauntingly.
Ooh.
No.
We just saw Annabelle Creation. So we were driving home and I was saying I need to figure out something that I didn't like about it because I'm not a critic, and when I go into a movie that I'm really stoked for, I am not looking for criticism. I am looking to have a good time. And so then after these videos come out, people, and also you, but people say critiques of the film, and I'm like, oh, that's true. But I can't, guys. I'm not a critic, and I love horror, and I've been stoked for this, and I enjoyed it. I thought this was a great fourth addition to the Conjuring kind of world. The whole time I was enjoying the film, but I was worried that they weren't going to tie in the first Annabelle, and it was revealed that they do, and it's really killer and awesome. And I love a mostly female cast, and I was into it.
And I have two criticisms of the film. For anybody who follows Tamara on social media or watched the last video, my concern wasn't that I don't like horror. It's that the jump scary, when I saw the remake of The Omen, that kind of stuff just gets on. I live alone, and it just really gets under my skin.
With your cat.
I would be the kid in a horror movie you wouldn't believe, and I'd be like, no, there are demons, and sure, Bobby. I don't know why I call.
You would be that. I don't know why you call yourself Bobby. But you would be that kid.
Do I believe me? I don't know.
You don't even believe in your name.
Yeah, but I mean, right. I did enjoy the lore aspect of it, which is one thing I really do enjoy in horror movies. That's one of the things I like about horror movies. I liked a lot of, the cinematography was good. The direction seemed adequate. Casting, strong.
Tell us what you didn't like.
I was gonna let you talk about how much you liked things.
I do agree that jump scare horror is not the strongest of the genre. I was just talking to a friend.
Wait, before you continue, let me just close this medicine cabinet mirror. And oh my god, oh, there was a thing behind me.
We'll continue, but oh, that door just shut! Agreed. Definitely agreed. I was talking to a friend before this, and he was like, I dig horror films, but it's difficult to find a good one, which I completely agree with. Because horror, he said, Mr. Jake Jarvie, hello, he said that horror is a genre that you just want more content, so the audience is more forgiving because you're just welcoming that sweet, sweet content. And gimme. The jump scare thing really started with the remake of The Omen, those kind of movies where they were just let's remake shit. And these four movies, I will say, do have jump scares for sure. But the stories are more solid, especially Conjuring and Conjuring 2. And then Annabelle came out. I saw Annabelle and was underwhelmed. But this made up for it for me. I thought that it was definitely scary in some cool moments. Definitely there were jump scares, but I didn't hate them. Story-wise, there were a couple holes. Why would these humans bring in this whole cart of women to look out for?
Cart of women!
When they know that there's an evil spirit looking to devour women's souls. That's maybe on them. That's their bad. But I really enjoyed it.
So the movie has three main components: Catholics, children, and a well. And that's a recurring theme in horror. Seriously, strong Amityville horror. Well, Catholics blessing a house and children.
Yeah, they all have that.
But that's my thing. It's so that's the thing where I'm I don't know if that's a problem I have. I don't know if I appreciate the fact that it's kind of a throwback to a long lineage of horror tropes, or if I'm all right, we get it. Catholics, wells, and children are a bad scene when it comes to demons, but can we freshen that up a little bit?
Also, the well was super unnecessary. They could have cut the well, and it would have been all right, one less cliche. I agree with you, but I would argue that the Catholicism, which is in every flipping horror film. But I would argue it's because they've got the long history of exorcisms.
But also,
I understand.
But I mean, like, it'd be nice if we could throw in some Pentecostals or something. I mean, they've got the whole speaking in tongues
Branch
thing and
out.
everything.
Scientology is horrific.
Whereas,
let's
whereas,
bring that in.
the joke I made leaving the theater is like, where's like the barren Hindu couple that lives in a desert?
Right,
you know,
yeah.
like my major problem with the film specifically, outside of anything else, is as somebody who was like going in like and kind of like freaked out for a lot of the movie. Anytime they actually showed the demon, I immediately was taken out of it. Like especially his like the face of the demon.
Yeah.
It completely removed fear from me.
Totally.
Like I just suddenly was like at one point I almost laughed at the demon's face.
Well, now we're watching more of like a comic book that's done bad, weird like cartoon animation. And I will say that is totally a running thing with The Conjuring. In Conjuring 2, they show a full-on giant demon named
Hector.
We joked that it was Alec Baldwin because his name Valak. I don't know. It sounded very much like Alec. So like, oh god, it's Alec Baldwin.
People always really want to see them.
I do, yeah. I always want to see it.
It's especially like if you look at like slasher horror. It's like, could you imagine Friday the 13th or Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare Before Elm Street?
Can you imagine Nightmare Before Christmas?
If you didn't see Jack Skellington?
There were moments when it was a lot less about the story and more about just like scaring you. So it was like very long, drawn out moments of like weird items in the house breaking. And
it's really weird that this was a house full of people who do not hear screaming when they're sleeping.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Usually in horror films, especially in like Conjuring 1 and 2, I'm like, just get out of the house. Just leave.
Yeah.
Leave the house. But these women have nowhere to go.
They're so far out there. And it's very clear that it's the property and not just the house itself. And obviously the whole thing lets you know that it's it's a traveling, It's
a traveling beast.
Yeah, it's got a suitcase, it's ready to go. Character exploration would have been more interesting, especially the lesbian love interests.
They love each other.
I am relatively certain that this was kind of an understory about lesbian interest in the 1950s. I also really appreciated, because of fan service, I really did appreciate that the movie opened on Tamara's home. The movie opens on Tamara's childhood home, and we see her father working on dolls, and he comes into the house, and it was really nice to know that they understood how big of a fan Tamara was and decided to make it about her.
I leaned over and I was like, this looks like exactly where I grew up. And he leaned over and was like, I was legit just going to make a joke about that, and I didn't know where you grew up, so.
Yeah, I've never seen where she grew up.
It was definitely in California. Yeah, so where I grew up.
So that was nice. That was a nice add-on. This movie had a lot of like great like lore, a lot of interest, but it also had like a lot of downtime and then just a lot of time being like being spent where we're just like, oh god, what's gonna happen? I
do really enjoy being scared. It's like my favorite emotion. And so I really enjoy the parts where you're like waiting there like, oh god, what's gonna happen? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I felt like there was more suspenseful, like that kind of suspenseful moments building up to like a kind of scary moment versus being like, wow, like freaked out.
Just random sudden. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was more suspense.
There were jump scares for sure, but it was more worked out through the music and less through the bangs, and less about like like a face in a mirror. There were no mirror moments, which we talked about before.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Really excited about the lack of mirrors.
I think as somebody who goes to every scary movie that comes out in the theaters, I thought it was solid comparatively to things that have come out widespread in theaters.
Sure.
So like.
Sure.
Not like festival things that are probably better than widespread theater releases, but still, like for a theater release, I thought this was a really decent horror film, definitely a decent fourth film of a whole kind of Conjuring series. Again, I was really delighted at the end how they tied in Annabelle to Annabelle Creation. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, in terms of horror movies, this wasn't the Emoji Movie, which was a far scarier movie.
Thank you for facing some mad fears and doing this with me. Can you show them
the
friend you brought.
tardigrade?
The whole time.
Everyone's gonna
he
make fun of
was
me.
clutching this, and then for the really scary parts, I would reach over and pet it.
Everyone's gonna make fun of me.
Who would make fun of this?
I brought my little
Shame!
I brought my little tardigrade. I have a bigger one, but I thought they'd be weird if I brought that into the theater.
It would have.
So I brought
For the record, it would have been very weird.
I brought the travel one. He's a tardigrade. He can survive everything, and so can I if I hold him tightly to my chest.
Bye.
Goodbye forever.